Recording on.
Welcome. It's Tuesday. I said before some of you have popped on that I missed you girls last week. I was in just overwhelm mode and kind of just needed a night off, but then I regretted it after the fact because I like talking to you girls every week. We're excited for tonight, right? Pumped up.
Yeah.
How's everybody's week going? Anybody have anything to share? No?
Mine's way better than last week.
Thank goodness.
Way better. Last week was not a great week.
It was wild. A wild week.
Those post-nursing hormones are...
Can you imagine if you didn't take care of yourself? That's what I kept thinking when I was going through all my postpartum ups and downs, which I feel like I'm still having, P.S., is what if I was eating like junk and not working out? How it would be 10x those low moments.
Because then all you'd be doing is thinking about how now I'm like feeding my body all this crap. You would just feel way worse about yourself.
Yeah. A little side note.
What I was with Hudson, or Carter.
One of them.
Which is why I joined Beachbody. Yay.
There's a post.
Post it.
Post it. Tag.
I just want to say a couple congratulations. First, your guys' 30 days, for those that I've seen, I just want to say rad. Like, I don't know about you all, but I just feel like this program is changing people's bodies, like physically changing people's bodies. Look at me. And Hudson just wants you to look at him.
Hi, Hetty.
That's it. Okay. Very good. And I just feel like we're all pushing ourselves harder than I think we ever have. I don't know about you all, but I feel like I go into those workouts and I'm like, no, I'm not freaking picking up the 12s. I'm going to 15s, and I just feel, because I know you all are. And I feel like even though there's lots of people who stop posting in the group, that group is rad, and people's lives are being changed and people's habits are changing. And I don't know if you saw the post yesterday, but it was name something you're proud of yourself for or whatever. Go read that and tell me what we do doesn't matter. Like, that's all I kept thinking about when I was reading it today. I was like, this is what we do. Like, this is what we get the opportunity to help people. And, I said it in our sneak peek this week. I didn't say it in our sneak peek this week. I said it on a live video. And this was a little harsh, but I had this girlfriend, I'm going to go a little tangent here, but I had this girlfriend say to me, I just need to change my mindset about like self-sabotage. And she's borderline, 150-ish pounds she needs to lose. And she deals with high blood pressure and high cholesterol and all of these things. And in my live, which was directed to her in so many ways, but she wasn't going to watch it, so it was fine. And I'm still figuring out how I'm going to say basically these words to her. But you have an opportunity, like, this is something that can actually save somebody's life. And part of when people ask me, like, how do you figure out your why? Like, why do you get up every morning? And to be totally real, we had James' cousin recently died at 42 years old because of something she didn't do. And if she would have done, she wouldn't have died. She had one of those pulmonary embolisms in her leg, and it went up to her lungs, and she had a cough for like 4 weeks, and she never did anything. And if all she would have done is gone to the doctor, but she was very overweight, and she ate all the wrong things, and she just didn't want to go. And it got into her heart, and she died in her house in front of both of her daughters and her husband. And I don't mean that in like a very harsh way, but I'd say that because how horrible to live your life and to die of something that you have an opportunity to change. I'm not saying you're not going to die of, a stroke or something crazy, but the fact is we have something that we get to offer people that changes their life every single day. And whether or not we get cancer or we get brain disease or we get whatever, that could happen. But at least we're doing everything we can in our power to control the things that can be changed. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes. We have that power, and we get to give it out freely to all of the people we come in contact with. And so I think when you decide, I want to live, that's what we have the ability to offer something that makes them live. And I don't know, it just kind of hit home for me. I don't really know where that came from, but I don't remember the question or the answer. But I guess I say this to say, like, you really do, you have something that is different than everything else, because I will tell you what, those, quick fixes, what do those do to your heart? What do those do to your metabolism? They mess it up for life. For life, you are recovering from that, from being in ketosis for forever and losing 90 pounds in 4 weeks or whatever. That's great. But all you're doing is screwing up your metabolism for a really long time. And that's scary. And so I just think that we have such a rad opportunity, and we have to remember that with every single person we talk to. And the more you lead with that, the more people are going to say, you're right, I need to fight for my life. And so just want to say that you guys are all life changers. Okay. That's what I got for you today.
Love it.
Okay. So I'll just stop recording. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Anyway, let's go on to the good stuff. Oh yeah. And then the other thing I was going to say is, Courtney she's not on this call, but she's one coach away from being a Ruby coach. That's really exciting, you guys. We should celebrate that. I feel like we are on the rise and we're doing the things. So I just want to, if you see her, encourage her, because we all know how it feels to get so close to a goal and then have a rough month or something. So if you, can encourage her just to keep pushing. And yeah, that's all I have for my recognition.
Love it. I wanted to recognize somebody who is on this call, Miss Cece, coming in hot. We all know she's already been a success starter. She shared with me last week a really awesome income progression that she had last Thursday. I don't know, did you share that in the team page, Cece? I would love it if you will. And it just shows, I think, what's possible with consistently hitting Success Club and signing a couple coaches right from the time you sign up. And even though none of us just signed up, I like seeing how that can compound for somebody. So I appreciate you taking the time to make that and sharing that. And I loved that you shared that on your social media. So kudos. And you're also in Success Club again. And you also signed a couple coaches this month in what is historically, annually, one of the, a little bit more rougher months, because everybody has every excuse up the wazoo to not join us right now. Am I right? So let's talk about that for a minute. We know, and I don't want to go to the negative side, so that's not the point of this, but we know that August is a tough month. It's always a tough month across the board. You get that, beginning of the year where everything's great, everybody wants to lose weight, blah, blah, blah. You go into spring, people are still feeling great. Now they're going up for summer. It's a lot easier to get people to want to jump on board. You get to June and you feel that little bit of a slump because people are getting, if they have kids, they're getting out of school. If they are going on vacations for the summer, they're planning them, which means they're planning financially for them. Things get a little bit off track, right? That's what happened in June. I know that June was a tougher month for me. Then thank you, Beachbody, for launching the Raddest program to date, in my opinion, in July, because I think that helped a lot of coaches. And then you come to August, where people are, again, holding onto their purse strings. They're not taking the time or the consideration for themselves to look at this from the light that Kim just totally laid out for us. And I think as coaches, it's our job to help show them. I literally just took notes as Kim was writing that down, saying, write a post about, this isn't just about body image. This isn't just about losing weight, because I know for me, and you should really ask yourself, what is it that you talk about the most when you share about your fitness, when you share about your workouts? For me, I typically talk about how they make me feel strong. I love that they helped me lose weight, because that was always a struggle of mine. But I don't talk about the fact that this overall helps my health. And don't just say it on a surface level, but go deep with that, whatever that looks like for you. If you have a personal story in your family that you can share, if you have a personal story with yourself, with your own personal health that you can share that, because that's just another way for us to showcase, like Kim said, that we have something that nobody else has. And in these tougher months, you really need to find those little nuggets that you can drop in your social media to share. One more thing that Cece texted me today, sorry to put you on the spot, but she said something about, how often are the invites you're sending getting ignored, but then, the randoms that are watching you that you don't realize end up coming to you and saying yes. And I was like, yep, happens a lot. But here's the thing, guys. In these tougher months, in your busy weeks, in your busy months, when life happens, what you're doing today, what you're doing this week, the people that you're reaching out to, the posts that you're writing right now, basically you're having no effect. You're not going to get that instant return. It's very rare that you have that post or that invite where the person turns around and says yes. You post, one of the more salesy posts, do you want to join me, da 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 da, and you get these people who say they're interested. How often do those people in that moment, in that day, in that week actually say yes? It's very rare. So you always have to remember that the work you're putting in now, in the hard months, in the months where you're tired and you have so much going on and you feel like you can't even see straight, or maybe you've gotten a little sidetracked with going on vacation or whatever it is, whatever that might come up in your life, when you take your foot off the gas and you decide, things aren't really working right now, I'm not going to invite, that's going to affect you in 30, 60, 90 days. So if you rewind, if you feel like this month's hard, what were you doing back in May and June? Because whatever you were doing in those months, if those months were hard, if you took your foot off the gas in those months, that's probably why this month might feel a little bit harder. I feel like I have a spider crawling. So think about that. Right now, it's August. It's not the best month for anything sales related. And yes, as much as we are life changers, we also have something to sell. And it's not the best month to be trying to sell something. And we're going into the holiday season where people are spending. But one of the last things they're going to be thinking about is themselves. They're thinking about all the gifts they're going to be buying for other family members, right? So really start thinking now about what your messaging is going to be on social media and being super uber consistent with your invites on the days that you don't want to, on the days that you're jammed up, jam-packed, you feel like you can't see straight, send 5 invites. That's better than no invites. If your goal for the day is 20, but you only get out 5, that's better than 0. I think a lot of times we do that where we just don't do anything because we can't reach our ultimate goal of the day, but that's going to trip you up come November, December. So I just want that to be on the forefront of your mind. For me personally, this is a time of year that I get really fired up and I feel like I start to kind of 10x things because I know the trends in this business and it tends to serve me well in the holiday seasons. I like to go into December hot, get a lot of my work done, get people signed up in challenge groups so that when Christmas comes and social media kind of takes a back seat on, the planet, I'm not stressing about, oh shoot, nobody's seeing anything I'm posting because it's Christmas Day and I'm not in Success Club. It's done. I can enjoy my family. I'm still doing the things, but we all know people don't, just like any job, you're not going to be wanting to do all of the things at the 10x level during the holidays on those actual days. So give yourself that break, but plan for it. Plan ahead for these things. You guys, we can't plan ahead for everything that comes our way in life, but we can absolutely look at the quarter that we are coming into and plan. What are people going to be spending money on? What are people going to be saying no to? Why? What are those pain points that we can talk about now? And what are the groups that we're going to run that are going to get people excited about their health? So that kind of leads me into what Kim and I have been talking about as far as challenge groups for the next 4 months. And so we wanted to share that with you. Kim, do you want to chat about that or you want me to keep going?
Sorry.
That's okay.
Without fail, just all the humans doing all the wrong things. So we were just kind of thinking about how the info group is really just this awesome place to house all these people who are once upon a time interested. And so that's, what does that look like for you? What does it look like to have a place where, right now that info group's up to like almost 500 people. So as you can tell, this week we're talking about nutrition. We're kicking off a nutritional boot camp. This is something we wanted to do for a long time. We love doing the 2B Mindset boot camps. However, when Andy and I kind of went back to Portion Fix, we kind of just unfortunately kind of let it slide. So that's something that we want to see keep happening. However, how rad that we can just couple them together and do 2B Mindset and Portion Fix. We don't have a template. We don't know what it's going to look like yet, but we know we're going to make it really cool. And so right now there will be no workout conversation that even happens in that group. It will be 100% recipes and containers and to be, and we'll have a to be post and a portion fix post every single day, and we just want to help people really get to the bottom of their nutrition, because we all know that is how you see results. And so if you run into CrossFit people or you run into anything, get them in there. This is what you have to offer them. If you have someone who's like I'm dealing with this girl right now who like really wants big, because you know how that little bitty waist and the big butt and thighs is like the thing these days. She's like, oh, we're on this plan. And she's like, but I need supplement help and nutrition help. And I'm like, awesome. Well, here's what we got going. So those are your people. So back to the info group. So our plan is this will run for 1 week. Our hope is to ask engaging questions. P.S. Did we put an engaging question in there today?
I'm going to tonight.
Okay. We just need to get better at doing it at the beginning of the day.
Earlier. Yeah.
Because I was same thing and now I'm done.
Yes. P.S. that for going forward, I'll do the morning post tomorrow. That the question should be in there.
Yeah.
See, we're just working out the logistics. Typically, we're like,
let's do info group. Let's have it just stay in there. So like last week we did a coach informational group in there. I don't know how successful it was. I did have a lot of clients turn into coaches last week. And I feel like it's because they were paying attention to our info group, which was kind of funny. So I do think it serves a great purpose. But you guys can run this with us. All you have to do is go in and share it. There's no rules. We're literally making it up day by day. So if you want to add people to there, just add them. Just make sure that your face is in there. Like you've either gone live in recently, you've done something so that when they go in there, they're not like, well, who are these two girls? I've been talking to, so-and-so. Make sure you're in there and you show up, and if you want to post something, just say, hey, Kim and Andy, I'm in, I want to post. Just tell me when to post. We'll be like, great. Why don't you post on Wednesday, or why don't you post on Thursday, or whatever. We don't have rules. The more, the merrier. And just like Facebook algorithms go, the more engagement we have in our info group, the more people are going to see the stuff in the info group. So keep that in mind. So this week it's nutrition. Next week it's going back to fitness. So morning meltdown. Geez Louise, we need to find something for. We're trying to decide what we're going to do with Summer Strong. That's like our next plot that we're trying to figure out. But anyway, the point of it is you can use it for whatever you want to. Take that one link. That link will never change. Use it in your invites. Use it everywhere.
So here's the thing. I've had a couple people say, well, I'm worried that if I add people there, then they're just going to want to sign up with another coach. And if I don't believe that to be true, if somebody were attracted to your social media in the first place, and that's how they ended up in the info group, or if you invited them to the info group and they're in there and you're a presence in there, then if they decide to say yes, they're going to sign up with you. So I just want to clear the air with that. And I think that that's why it's so important that if you are invited to that group, that you are present in there. So Kim and I were just talking today, like, how are you following up with people in there? Because you can't always tell like who the person's following, but Facebook is a lot simpler than it is on Instagram, in my opinion, in figuring this out. So what I do is every so often, maybe every other week or every 3 weeks, I go in and I look at all the people. And if there's a name that I don't recognize, I don't know if they were from one of my invites or somebody else's, I just click on them. I see if they have any mutual friends with other coaches. If they do, then I don't message them. I don't do anything. But if they're not following or friends with one of you, and they're not like following Kim Jensen Organizational Fitness, sometimes it'll show that they're following my fitness page. If I think that in any way they were invited by me, then I'll send them a message and I'll just say, thanks so much for popping in this info group. Just wanted to see if you have any questions for me. I'm here to help. And I always follow it up at the end with a question. So like this week, I'm going to go through that group tomorrow and again, just look through the people. And if you kind of stay on top of it, it's not super overwhelming. I know she mentioned there's almost 500 people, but I'm not messaging 500 people. You'll see if you click through the members in there, then I just simply send them a message and, thank them for being in there, ask them if they need anything. And since it's nutrition, I would say, Do you have any specific questions regarding either nutritional program? Have you watched the videos? Because I think that those videos are really powerful. Like she was saying with the algorithm, the more engagement we get in those groups, the more notifications the members in there will get. So we're trying to ask engaging questions, because if they're engaging in there, they're more likely to get notifications that we're posting in there. So as things change, as it becomes a nutrition boot camp and back to MM100 and then back to coaching, we're hoping that it's helping all these new eyes see all the stuff that we have to offer, basically. So again, just like I said at the beginning of this call, you don't have to do what we're doing. You don't have to participate in this, but it's a resource that we're trying to make really good for the whole team, not just Kim and Andy. And we just want to make that really clear, that we welcome all of you in to post and invite to it, and then be a force in there, be a presence in there. So it doesn't just look like two of us posting, so that there's more of us. The other thing you can do is, as you're inviting, if you send the link in an invite, or if you post about something and you link the info group, then write down the names of the people who liked that post, or write down the people you invited specifically to it, to track those people that way. And then you can follow up and see if they joined that way. That might be a little bit simpler way. So she mentioned the Summer Strong group. We talked about leaving that open. We've been toying with an idea of promoting a group that's like, I haven't even counted the days, like 90 days to the new year, or 80 days to the new year, something like that, but not necessarily doing a program specific, so that people who don't want to do MM100 can get in on that. So that's kind of what we're toying around with. I know that a lot of you are kind of running your own groups right now, which I think is so cool. I'd love to hear some of your ideas. In the past, when we've done like a big group that goes all the way through the holidays, I feel like that's been pretty successful. People get excited about that. Again, thinking about things that trip people up over the holidays and getting ahead of it now, I think is super important. I know that we're only going into September, but y'all know, before we know it, we're going to turn around. It's going to be Thanksgiving. So that's why we're trying to be really on top of what are we going to be inviting to? What does that look like? Which leads me to one other thing. On Monday, or maybe it was Sunday, Kim shared kind of the flow of the week and an invite. I'm going to update that tonight to include kind of how I have been, well, like not just my invite flow, because you all know my invite flow, but the conversation that goes from there. I shared this in a pod of coaches that I talked to about using an infographic, just an image that has pricing on it. I feel like was really helpful in inviting to MM100. So when people say that they're interested, typically they say, yeah, send me more information. The next message basically just has some like hype and talking about what to expect in the group, a little bit about the workouts, a little bit about Shakeology, and so on. Typically the next thing they say is how much. So I'm going to share what I say there. And in that little that information that I share, I say, this is the most basic package, or the most popular package, I think I say, but check out all of the options below. And this has been a really helpful way for me to upsell without feeling shady about it or scummy about it, because I struggle with that, to be honest. But the truth is, I've had more people say, oh, I wish I would have got Energize and Recover with my challenge pack after the fact, and now they're spending more money on it. So I like having, here's the most popular package, but here's all the options you can get in an image. So you're sending, for people who like to read through everything, you're sending it in wording, and then you're also sending the image. And like I said, I will be sharing that tonight into the team page. So keep an eye out for that.
It's funny that you say that, because I just had a girl and she's like, she bought so much stuff, and for whatever reason I just never mentioned Energize, and she's like, so what's the stuff, like, did I get the stuff that everybody's like drinking and dancing to in the morning? And I'm like, no, you didn't. And I feel so bad. And she's like, oh, and I'm like, so of course now she's gonna go buy, and it's like 40, I don't even know, it's so much money in my opinion. Like, don't get me wrong, I would pay probably double for it. But James is like, why don't you just send her a canister? I'm like, it's like $45 or $50 or something. I don't know. Anyway.
I do think the Energized dance parties are working. I don't know about you guys, but I've had some of my current customers asking about Energize now. And I think that that's why.
People want to be invited.
Yeah.
They're like, how do I get into the tribe that dances? Like, well,
So if you're not doing that yet, just start. Don't overthink it, whatever. Half the time, I'm literally half asleep when I'm doing it, and I'm just trying to smile. It looks so happy.
you are happy.
I am happy, but I'm also tired until it kicks in.
You start feeling those moves.
Yeah. Okay, before we move on from this topic of an invite flow and conversations, how do you guys feel about your conversations? I have 2 questions for you. How many conversations, and I want to invite you right now to speak up in the chat or just unmute yourself. How many conversations are you opening every day? I want to hear it. Are you 5, 10, 2, 0? And then my second question is, do you feel like you have a good flow? Because I do think this is another area that some coaches get tripped up, is if you feel like you actually get a response and then you're like, ooh, I don't know what to say. And then you get weird. So I think we need to talk about this real quick. So how many conversations are you starting a day? And do you feel good about your flow, or do you feel like you need a little pep talk?
Do you mean how many invites we're sending, or just how many people are
invites.
responding and we're talking to?
How many invites are you sending?
Well, for me, it just kind of varies. I think there's a goal in mind of 30 a day, but sometimes it's 15 a day, sometimes it's 40 a day. So
Okay.
but I have been making more of an effort to not necessarily just send a cold invite to someone, but actually just like talking, like sending a message about something like on their page, or just some, not kind of like a compliment, but just kind of like asking them a question about something on their page.
I like that.
That's actually, I've
build
had
those
a couple people respond. Yeah. That's been good.
Very good. Anybody else? If not, we can move on. Just thought I'd ask.
I actually talk to several people. Sometimes I like have conversations with people. But what I'm trying to, I don't know the kind of words I'm trying to figure out here. I don't know the words to put it in. My invites are going good, but like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't know. I get like my flow will be good, and then like I will start sending out too long. Like it'll be short and sweet, and then I'll go overboard sometimes.
Okay.
I think that's really common, because I think we try to, you want to like put into words what it all is, and sometimes then it just gets like ridiculous. It's just so much, and you're like, I didn't mean to say all that. I just want you to know everything, like I just want you to know it all.
Like, okay, so like my new coach, Paula, that's underneath me, she's I sent her some examples, and she's like, that's too long. It needs to be
That's
like
fine. Keep in mind that it's okay to personalize it. So what's too long for her, that's fine. She can shorten it, but maybe it's real to you. Maybe it's, if it's how you think you would say it, then I think you need to go with that. You need to.
That's what I told her. I said she
natural.
I told her she needs to ask some questions like, what are your goals? Like, what are you trying to achieve? She needs to ask them questions, basically, is what I told her to do.
Yeah.
Like, what are your fitness goals? Are you looking for nutrition? Are you, I don't know.
Definitely asking questions is so important, and it'll help the conversation to flow for sure. So if you feel like you aren't getting to your invites because time, then I just want to encourage you guys to, again, and this is going to happen over and over and over and over and over again, reassess your daily schedule and where can you fit that in. You know, if you can find 3 pockets a day to just do 10, 3 times, or do you need to get up a little bit earlier? Is that possible? Is that something that you'd be willing to do? I just feel like there is so much success to be had in this. And sometimes I feel like you're stuck by not doing the things and then not doing the things and not doing things. And before you know it, like a little slip in our routine turns into a slide and we haven't invited for a week or we haven't invited for 2 weeks or whatever. And the second thing is if you are finding that time to invite and then you find that 30 minutes goes by and you've only invited one person because you can't find people to invite, then you need to add in somewhere in your day, expanding your network in one way or another. Because the truth of the matter is you are going to run out of people to invite if you're not actively expanding your network. I know that there's even newer methods on Instagram now, even beyond 531 rule. I think 531 still works really well if you do it. But if you need to spend a little bit of time researching the best way to gain followers right now, then take the time to do that because you're only going to grow. You're only going to glean from that. I've been sharing more from Beachbody Champions over the last week or so because I find it so helpful to see how these other coaches are doing things. So if you're getting tripped up in your power hour, go watch one of those live power hours and don't just sit there and watch it. Do what they're doing as you're sitting there because you're sitting there listening to it anyways. And I feel like a lot of what they're saying is gold because it's real time what's working. And maybe what I'm doing or what Kim's doing or what Cece's doing or whatever, maybe that's not working for you. But we have so many resources at our fingertips to find what will work for you. So I just want to encourage you guys in that. If you feel like I have 2 things, 2 bunnies tonight, a little theme going on.
Hey,
if you feel like what you're doing isn't working, then take the time to readjust. And if you feel stuck in your time constraints in your day, then I really want to encourage you to figure that out because I want this to work for you. And I know that you all have so much going on, but I also know that this can be built so successfully in the cracks of your day, whatever you got on your plate. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Kimberly.
No, you're good. You are good. Where were you in the...
I kind of started talking about Summer Strong. Were you going to say challenge
groups? Oh, yeah. No, that's good.
I just mentioned how in the past when we did like a 90 days through the holidays or 80 day or whatever, those are always so good. But we're kind of stumped on what we want to do and where we want to go with it.
Well, and I feel like we have that. I don't know. I mean, 80 days is coming through the holidays. You're pretty much right on cue for an 80 days through the holidays where you would hit up October, Canadian Thanksgiving, Halloween, American Thanksgiving, and Christmas.
What if how much longer does this schooly, I almost said syllabus, well, template last? I didn't even look. How many days? Because,
the old one that we're pulling from?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure it was like 4 weeks.
That's what I figured. So that puts us middle of September. Because what if for info group, we focus more on MM100 because this will be the last round.
This is our last invite to that. That's right.
Invite that because we're going to go over into the new year with this last group, which is fine. So
no,
what if
you're good. No, they finish in time. September 3rd is, think about if you got 100 days, so 20, where's our math? Julie, I'm always like, hey, Julie, how much is 31 plus 30 plus 31 is how much?
Is 91.
So you have more than, so then plus another 30.
Okay.
How many days you have till the end of the year?
Okay. So I think for the sake of this next info group, next week, we jam home MM100 one more time, where we really focus on that. And if you have challengers who sign up and they're like, I don't want to do that, or for whatever reason, you know, you have old challengers re-upping, but they don't want whatever, then we'll have a place for them. If that means they go into Tribe and they wait until this 80 days to through the holidays group opens or whatever, I'm just thinking out loud. I think that's what I want my game plan to be. I feel like my invites are more successful when I'm inviting to something specific. I don't know about you guys. And I feel like we have a good opportunity right now to capitalize like one more big bang on MM100 before the next thing comes out and before we get distracted by holidays. So that's just my thought, thinking out loud. Doesn't mean everybody who sign up has to do that. But I think from a marketing standpoint, I think we take that, because we're going to have 30-day photos. Next week, we'll have 40-day photos. And then we go, hey, this is the last round we're going to open of this program where you're doing this specifically with, you know, like there, I feel like there's a lot you could talk about there on your stories and in social media. And then we start blowing it up about 80 days to the holidays, which actually we could, sorry guys, this is like our brain dump session. This is what we do. I think we do another coach sneak peek in between, and then we go hard on like an 80 days through the holidays. They can do MM100, they can do the work, they can do whatever. We'll make up some fun calendars for just our BOD people, and we make it really rad. That's what I think.
Well, because we always do 21 Days of Fitness. That's always like one of the funnest groups of the year. So I feel like we can still do that in there.
Yeah.
That's the nice part. We can just interchange. My only question is, can you change? Oh, no, I guess it doesn't really matter. We just changed the theme in the group.
You know what we did last year? This just reminded me when you said that. Remember we ran 21 Days of Fitness in Tribe, and it really got Tribe like awake again.
Oh, that's right. Because we, just that some people aren't on Facebook, but yes.
Sure.
Yeah, no, I think that would be cool.
Because I don't think we want to get bogged down with like a million groups. If we have the MM100 groups still going with people on so many various days, then we open the 80 days to the holidays. Again, just thinking out loud. I think if we run like a 21 Days of Fitness or anything like really focused specific, we either run it in that 80-day group or we run it in Tribe. Just thinking out loud. Rather than a whole nother app.
No, I like that idea. I think that's great.
Or we do it in both. I still have people who just love Tribe and they don't want to be in the app. And I think the holidays are a fun time to throw out those fun little gifts and all of that we did last year.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, yeah, we'll do another kickoff. We'll do another coach sneak peek in there. P.S. You guys you can tell people to jump into the Coach 411 page all week. We've been, today Andy did a day in the life. I did a day in the life yesterday. Tomorrow I'm going to tell like my story, and then she's going to tell her story. If you want to tell your story, you totally can. But we went from like, our followers are all the way up to like almost 90, I think I just saw.
For those of you who are using that link and tagging people and you want to be a presence in there, just tell me and we'll plan out what day you want to kind of take over the stories and what you're going to do with that. Because I think that having more faces from the team would be great. I don't want to it's linked to my personal Instagram, and I'm really afraid of getting blocked for a week like I did. So I just need to be careful with that. I can't just put my login on the team page and say, here you go. But I do want it to be something where other people can log in and be able to do stories in there. Or I don't know if anybody has any techie ideas on how else we could do that. I don't know. But I'm afraid to have too many people logged in at one time is my only fear with it. But I think taking turns would be fine. So if you've been inviting to that and you want to do some stories in there and share your story or your day in the life, or your biggest obstacle and how it's helped you or whatever, let me know so we can work that out.
Yeah.
And so that is something we want to live on and grow, and hopefully it becomes fruitful. I hope. And by the way, when people request to follow, if I could tell who they're following. I've been trying to tag you guys, and a lot of you are on it, thank you, and you're already tagging them before I've done it, which really helps because I want to make sure everybody knows, like, you know, Emily invited me and I'm in here or whatever. So
Where have you been tagging?
I've been tagging in the welcome post.
You just say,
I just, like, if I go and I can tell that somebody requested a follow and they follow Crystal, then I would go to the welcome post and tag that the person who's following and say, hey, Crystal, something.
oh, got it. Okay. Got it.
But I think it was Emily who had somebody and she tagged her. So if you know somebody's adding themselves in, that's also really rad because then I don't have to try to figure out who they're following. That's what makes it a little bit trickier in there. But again, I still think that if you were the person that the person was attracted to, or you were the person who was invited them in and they decide to do it, then they're going to want to sign up with you. However, I do want everybody to feel like this is a team thing. So that's why we're trying to figure out the logistics with the login and all of that. And stories and lives and
all the things.
Couldn't we, if somebody were to do some stories and send me little 15-minute clips, couldn't I just put them in and highlight them? It wouldn't matter if it was coming from my account, would it?
No, because it would be coming from the Living Your Best Life 4-in-1 account.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It wouldn't matter at all.
So that's another thing we could do. If you do, let's say you do, I'll encourage all of you to do this. Do a day in the life in your personal stories and have it saved to your phone and then send them to me. And I can put them as highlights. I can, say Emily's day in the life of coach of twins.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Or whatever. And I can put you in there or,
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Day in the life of her as a coach. Or
we should make a highlight of like transformations. I mean, there is a post about it, but
yeah, no, I think that would be great too. The other thing I was thinking is, I thought about this when I was thinking about Cece, how she shared her income. The more you guys share things like that, that's also something we could throw in there. Glimpses of all the things. Is this making sense? Okay. So feel free to send me your videos and I will get them in there so that you all have a face and a highlight and a presence in there for sure.
The only thing I was going to add was don't forget that we are pushing for your free trip to the Diamond Retreat in January. January, right?
Yeah.
January. So keep that in mind, that you still have plenty of time and you can do the things and push, so you can come to San Diego and hang out with us. Yes? Yo.
Sorry, I was reading the comments from Becky and Cece. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes. January. Okay, that needs to be way more peppy, so I apologize that I was...
Yeah, I was like, did I get all of that wrong? Are you not jazzed at all? Like, what's happening?
I'm so excited. So excited. Yes. January, we have the place. We have the exact location. We're working on all of the details. I know everybody gets pumped for photo shoots, and it'll be almost a year since we had our photo shoot. So I think that creates so much momentum for people's businesses, is actually seeing us get together, not just at some big corporate event, but our team. It shows that we have power and that we are mighty and that we are doing things and that you are doing things. So get your butts there.
Just do it.
Just do it.
I think that you have to decide at this point in the year, and actually Andrea and I were talking about this today, and she had me follow this girl who I still can't get over her story. Anyway, you have to get over.
Me to do her voice for you?
No, don't do her voice. I don't think we should say anything about her voice because then people are going to go there, and that we already did. We screwed it up. But anyway, she's this chick who did a video or did a call on Beachbody Champions, right? Her name's Danny. Did anybody watch her?
But it wasn't that. It was her stinking stories today that I was
yeah,
telling
right.
you.
Anyway, she's
I was dying.
she's a little bit she's intense. She's intense. But she basically said, like, you have to decide. Like, you have to stop. She probably said it similar to this. You have to stop pussyfooting around in doing what you want to do. Like, if you want this business to work, then you have to treat it with the soul of that you want it to work. So, you know, she's like, make sure, change up your scenery. Don't do the same. I mean, she was saying it very.
She didn't say it like that.
No, and I'm never going to say it like that. You
do you
actually
want me to?
No, I do not, because I don't condone the words you were using.
No. She said to change up your scenery. Stop doing this. Stop doing this. But she said a bad word.
Lots of bad words.
Change it up.
She basically just said, like, you have an entire, and I say this a lot too, not to say that I'm like Danny, blah, 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 but like, you have in your entire house, walk around, take a photo in different locations, show, you know, maybe one day you're in the kitchen, or another day you're on the floor, or another day you're in your garage, or wherever. Just utilize the space that you have, utilize the light you have, because people are attracted to something new. They're eventually going to phase you out, and it doesn't even matter what your message is, even if it's solid gold. Look at what, like, these, and not to say the top coaches, I don't really love doing that, but the fact of the matter is they stand out like sore thumbs. Like, they're wearing wild clothes, and they're constantly in different locations and doing different things. And it's because, yes, now they can, but at the same time, it's visually appealing. And the reality of Instagram is, if it isn't visually appealing, people are going to scroll past you. So how can you change up your scene? How can you change up your you know, the same sweaty selfie? You know, how can you include your kids, not include your kids, include your cups and not include your cups, talk about your shake, talk about your food, you know, go look at your social media and kind of give it the look, and how can you be more, how can you bring people to your page so that they do stop and read the message, because the message obviously is where the good stuff is, and you just want people to know, you know, the real you, and have variety, and have fun with it. And even if your message is literally the same, if it's totally inspirational, it could be like a really cool picture of you, you know, your shoes, or like you and your water, or actually Andrea's post today was really eye appealing. I found myself, you know, like scrolling and being, whoa, this is a new location in her house, you know, like, because I know your house, but you know, it was good. And so have fun, you know, like have fun with it, and get creative, and do fun things. And, you know, the new thing is this Thriller app. I don't know if you guys are all seeing the Thriller app. I did ask Jenna's on our team. I don't know if you guys tag her, but her morning Energize dances are freaking rad.
She did that.
Yeah, she sent me a tutorial, so I'm gonna upload it to the team page so you guys can all watch it, because I was like,
it time consuming?
No, she says it's
No.
very easy.
Okay.
And
Because we tried to do it today, and I was like, Kim, you got to ask her. I feel very old right now.
but she's
trying to
young and
figure it
insecure,
out.
and you know, she just
It's
does cool
pretty
things.
easy.
That did touch my eye, for
Yeah,
sure.
Pretty
Anna,
easy.
how old are you?
Well, why?
Because
I'm
I
not
had
that
a
much
vi-
younger than you, but
because I had a hard time. I was like, how does she get this all to work? Kim and I were like trying to figure it out.
once you get it, it'll be like super easy, and like
I'm gonna
it
be like
does
mad at
change
myself when
up
I-
the visual of it.
Like once I see it, I'm gonna be like, that was so easy. Hi.
Okay, well, I'll upload her little tutorial.
Please.
And
I
because
need it tonight to do my
even-
video tomorrow.
even if your workout video, you know, you can do your workout video in there. Like, you can change it up. I remember talking to Anna in, do you remember I asking you, like, I feel like I do the exact same thing with my workouts every single day. And I still do the workouts the same every single day. And I'm like, I could probably change this up. I could probably get some variety going. So I feel like this Thriller app's going to do that for me. And all I know is, guys, what's appealing is you being free. Truthfully, the more they see people just like letting loose and having fun and not worrying about what the heck someone thinks of them, I'm telling you, the freedom that allows somebody else is life-giving. And I think we think it's fun and games with our dancing. And I'm like, but you know what? How many people want to do that, but they just don't have, they're too embarrassed by who knows who because of something somebody might say. I mean, really, the crazier the better. That's what we were saying today. I'm like, I think we need to start train wrecking out there. I feel like the more train wrecky you are, the few more people are watching.
I have been feeling like mine are getting really boring. I need to mix it up.
Well, it's because our lives are not, let's be real. They're not really, maybe I should start just recording Hudson at 5:15 in the morning.
Since we're on the topic of Instagram, tag. That's one thing that I learned this week. Tag everything. If you're in your living room, tag wherever you got all the crap, your furniture, your rug, your photo frames, your whatever. I am a geek for home decor things, so I tag things. I don't even buy it there. I don't care. I'll tag.
I don't even,
you have the
I don't
potential.
even shop at your store.
Are you tagging the places, like,
Tagging it in
or
your
are you
photo.
hashtagging?
No, tagging the physical location, like the physical store.
Okay.
And in your
See, I've been
story,
writing all these hashtags in my stories, like just random hashtags to try and get more people, but I haven't been like tagging.
Tag like Amazon, tag Target Kids, tag Living Spaces, tag, all of them.
and you can hide them. I always hide them in my stories.
Yeah.
but
Oh,
I
like
haven't
I said, I've been hiding like hashtags, but I haven't really got that many more people like watching my stories.
Well, the
But
other thing
like,
to think
actually,
about,
like, adding like, tagging the actual store or whatever.
the other thing to think about is that your stories are to nurture your current audience and your feed is to get new followers. So like doing a bunch of hashtags in your stories, like hardly anybody there's a few, but hardly anybody starts following you from hashtags in your stories because they go away. Like it's not there for very long. But if you're like tagging a bunch of things in your actual post on your feed, that's where you're going to get followers. And if you're hashtagging it on your feed, you're going to disappear really quick in the feed of that hashtag. So like tagging the actual photo is going to give you more eyes on your post.
Anna, how do you know all this? You're
You
full of
watch
so
Instagram.
much knowledge. No, Anna's like the knowledger of
Well,
like
I mean,
social media.
because Instagram's my only, I wouldn't say I'm like great at it, at all, but I like learn a lot about it because I don't use Facebook for
Okay.
it at all.
I didn't know if that was like your job.
Well, some of it was this past year. The job I had, there was a lot of
Social media.
lot
I know a
of
lot. I always learn something from you. So thank you.
Yeah, but I think like the biggest thing for everyone to take like with Instagram right now, currently, because it's always changing, is that like stories are for your current audience and your feed is to gain new followers.
That is a really good way to look at it. I had never thought of it like that, but you're right,
Yeah.
because they go away.
So funny how somebody can say one thing and you're like, oh yeah, it's like totally true.
Yeah, I do get a lot. I mean, I do get a lot of people who are not following me watching my stories though.
So where do you think they're coming from? Are you tagging? Because the one thing, and this could be old, correct me if I'm wrong, Anna, but they used to say tag location, which I used to be much better about. And then it would tell you like 178 people from wherever saw
How many
this.
of them are then following you? Because really all that matters is the conversion. So if they're not following you after they watch your story, it doesn't really matter. Don't waste your time on like trying to get a bunch of people to watch your story if they're not going to follow you.
Gotcha.
Because then like they've seen you for 15 seconds and they're never going to see you again.
Gotcha.
Sammy?
That makes sense. Thank you.
I need to work on engagement in stories.
Yeah, me too. When you talk about random things, you get random messages. This week I've been on just doing random projects around the house and talking about it. I feel like I have an inbox full of people who want to tell me what kind of chalkboard paint they bought when they painted something. And then I was just like,
you want to buy a challenge pack?
I'm like, okay, chalkboard paint. How about it?
How's your
I'm
fitness?
just talking to him.
No, I do think that's, yeah. Gotta up the engagement.
And I've been personally, I feel like when I did a little audit of my stories, it's like so many in the morning that are all Beachbody based because I always show my workout and our dance party. And then I get quiet because my kids. And then it's like a ton of like catch up this is just me auditing myself. Then in the evening, I'm like doing a bunch of stuff and trying to do a call to action. And I felt like it was way too much Beachbody. So I tried to show more non-Beachbody this week. Do a little bit of both. I don't know. I'm not the expert, but I'm trying to learn.
That's all we can do. We just got to keep learning.
And it's always going to be an uphill battle because they're always changing it.
Every 5 seconds.
Constantly.
The thing that's driving me bonkers is that Instagram blocks the music that they allow you to use.
Yeah.
It is driving me mad. Like, it makes me want to throw my head through a wall. I'm like, it's in your thing. It's in your thing. Why are you blocking me? It's happening. Why does that happen?
I don't even have the music feature on my Instagram. I can't get it no matter how many updates I do. I can't get
No,
it.
you got to ask.
Hey.
Oh, I just go, I help. I sent a message every day for like 50 days, and finally one day it showed up.
Something about that I read on the Hard Hitters page, if you change your, like in your profile description, I changed mine to coach, and I got the music, and I didn't have it before. So instead of saying like, I can't remember what it said before, like products and services or like something along those lines, if you change the actual description, like if you put in coach, then 24 hours later I got the music. So I think it depends, like they censor the things that you get to use depending on what you are like branded as, essentially. So I don't know. I don't know if it works for everybody, but it did work for me. And then the other thing I was going to say about the music that they let you use, I think that if you make the, like the little tag part that says the name of the song, if you make it too small where they can't see it or like it's not visible in your story, then they block it. And then you have to like go through the appeal thing. Because it happens.
I peel every day. I'm peeling every 5 seconds.
Then they don't know that it's like from their app and not just music that you're playing in the background. That's usually when I've gotten blocked. If it's music that's been played in the background, then that's when that story will have gotten blocked. But if it's actually used within their app and they can see the little.
But which is so lame because you can't tag. You can't do you can't tag people. Like, I can't share your story if you use the music feature app.
Are you talking to me?
Only, yes, you
Anybody.
can. You can, because other people are sharing my story, and I usually use the music app. But it's only if you have the newest version. So if you have the old version where you just have the song and it just shows the title at the very top, you can't share that for some reason. But if you use it as, like, the moving words or, like, the picture, like the actual like block, you can I've been able to share it. It's the weirdest thing because I talked to Sarah about that because she kept doing it, tagging me, and I couldn't share it. It wouldn't let me. And I was like, I don't know why it's not working. I'm like, I see the tag, like I could see my name on your page, but I can't share it. And so she tried it another way and then it worked.
It worked.
So, but I also had to email or message Instagram about making me able to make long stories because I didn't have that feature to hold down the button and make long stories
Oh,
for
God.
months. And I was like losing my mind. And I finally just messaged them. I was like, I don't know why, but I need to be able to do this. And then, like next day I had it and I was like, okay.
So many things.
Kim, speaking of that, when I did stories today in the 411 group, it let me do long ones.
It started letting me halfway through yesterday.
Okay.
So it was fine.
You have to have like 100 followers or something. I don't know how many we
What
have.
do you mean by long?
Like, you know how it used to just 15 seconds, but now you can do like 2 minutes or whatever it is.
Yeah, on hands-free.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, it was stopping you at 15 seconds?
In the 401 group.
Even if you like held it down for hands-free, it had the hands-free option, but it wouldn't do anything. Like it would just be hands-free for 15 seconds and then it would cut you off. or it would actually show that it was recording. For the
It would
whole
show
minute.
that would drive me nuts. It would
So
show
it
Mine
me.
does
showed that
that
it was
still.
recording for that whole minute, and then when I went to post it, it would only be the first 15 seconds, and I was like,
Mine does that now. It only lets me do 4, but it'll show me recording longer, and then it only lets me keep the first 4. So I know if I hit 5, I'm like, well, that's not being used.
See, I had that, and then all of a sudden it stopped one day, and I got back my like 2 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, I can only do a minute.
You can only do a minute. Maybe mine's only a minute.
4.
Yeah.
It's 4.
Oh
Uh-huh.
no, I can do like 8.
We know. Just kidding.
yeah, mine's really long too. Mine's like, mine was a minute, and then it even got longer. It's like a minute and a half now. Because it's like, it
Thanks,
keeps
Sarah.
going, and you see all the like, little boxes, and then it goes into a second row. And I think I have 2 more on my second row, so I don't know how many that is, but I got a long one.
That's long.
I like one. All right, well, I have to go to Target to pick up a pair of unicorn shoes.
One of the
You're
things
going
I have heard about long
tonight.
Yep.
Oh,
I promised Avery she'd have new shows for picture day, and I forgot.
One thing about long Insta stories really quickly that I learned just like last week is that if you can on every screen write something that you said, you're going to get more engagement, or more people will continue watching, because so many people watch without the sound. So you don't have to type out the whole thing that you said, but if you type out at least like the key phrases, they're going to keep clicking through to then be like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? And then they might turn the volume on. But if it's just a bunch of talking heads with nothing, that's usually when people exit out.
Yes, I did learn that one. I don't have time for that.
Anna, where do you feel like you're learning the most? Just YouTubing things regarding Instagram?
I've started following certain like social media coaches, basically. There have been some like Facebook groups I've joined. Yeah, I think that's mostly where I'm learning. It's like just following, because there are certain people who like do this, and their stories are full of this, because they're basically there to help you who are using Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just like following people that are really good at it, I think, that have great engagement, that have been doing Instagram or blogging for a decade or so, because like the Allison show, she's someone I followed when blogging was really viable. And she's so great. And she does what Anna says, like all of her stories, there's always a line in each story. And I will always watch till the end because I love her. And she's good at engagement and everything, but she's just about empowering people. It's not, I don't know. She's been doing it forever. So the Allison show is someone I absolutely love. But I think if you follow people who just do Instagram well, then you're going to be like, oh, that's a cool thing that you're doing in stories, or, oh, look at her feed. Like, it's just not in the coach world at all. So it helps, because then you go, let me Google that real quick, and you learn something new.
Also, I just learned this. Sorry, I'm not trying to be like word vomit here, but I also just learned that the more you're engaging on like people within our industry, so in fitness, that's where they're gonna pump your content, and then also that's all that's gonna like show up for you in like explore tabs, or when you're searching hashtags, it's gonna pump things that they think you're gonna like, which we all know that. But like, so engaging in other people's, like normal people's content first and foremost, before you even engage in like each other's, is going to help your content get out to non-fitness people.
Well, if you engage with top coaches, all of your people are going to go and see top coaches. So like the more you go and look at their Instagram, all you're doing is sending your followers to their Instagrams, which is really lame. So just as an FYI, you don't want to be, what did we learn that? It was in a call.
That call.
Oh, it was in, what's her name? It was in,
going to their
Kate
page.
Shoots. Just going to their page will literally
How
made.
does that happen? I'm just trying to think of the logistics. If you're just going to their page, how does it drive people there?
Well, because it's like if you look up something on Google, what happens?
It knows.
5 seconds later, you get an ad in your Facebook that now the shoes that you were just looking at are now on sale at some store that it knows everything. It's creepy. The same, like, I don't know why it would show our followers, but maybe it would show our followers because it's where we're spending our time.
It might pop them up further in their Explore tab, because that's what happens. The Explore tab is where all of the algorithms start playing them.
That's what I was thinking.
Makes sense.
Which is lame. So that's why it's really imperative to not like engage or follow too many coaches. I think she said she only followed like 3 of them or something, and it was because they were actual friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's not helpful for me mindset wise, because I just start to compare and blah blah blah. So I've been more in the mindset of trying to find, like what Sarah was saying, people who do Instagram well who are not in the coaching world, to try to stand out in a different way, I think is where we should be looking. Somebody that you would naturally be attracted to, who's really good at Instagram, who's not a coach and not into fitness and not necessarily even selling something. You know, maybe they just have if they have a really good Instagram page, they're making money. But you know what I mean? I think that would be a good place for us to all kind of spend a little bit of research time, work time. That's how I stumbled on that training that I was sharing on the team page that I'm very far behind on. Was just that I was naturally attracted to this one girl's flow, and it linked to her stories where she talked about how she learned to grow her Instagram from 800 last October to almost like 500,000 now in a year. It's crazy.
It is crazy. It's a lot.
Cray.
What was that training? Did you share it?
I shared the first 2 units. They're in the team page as units. I'll get back on that tomorrow morning.
I signed up for, this makes me laugh every time I think about it. I signed up for, what's his name? Jesse.
Something new from Jesse?
Yeah, it's like a 30-day push group. It's free, and it's going to pop up in your inbox. What'd you say?
From the email?
Yeah. They got me. Hook, line, sinker. It's free though. And I'm like, yeah, I paid you $1,000. I'm pretty sure everything should be free.
I should go look at the stuff that I paid $1,000 for.
Dear Jesse, I'm coming to your house and you're going to make my business work.
I got a one-on-one with him once, and he was basically like,
I did too.
You need to change everything.
I do everything. Everything I was doing was wrong.
I just remember getting off the call being like, I don't even know what to do now. He basically told me it all sucks.
Yeah. He basically said, he's like, you got to stop talking to people. Like talking. I did say that. You got to stop talking to people. You got to talk to them as though when you were in the low of the low, so that you can connect. You got to stop preaching at people and be more coming at them from a place of like, when I was blah, 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 because I've been downhearted, whatever. Does that make sense?
Yeah. He told me not to talk about myself. And I said, I don't know what you mean, because aren't I supposed to be branding myself? I was thoroughly confused.
Anyway.
I don't know what I said, but something you just said just made me think about The Lion King.
Who?
Think about what?
The Lion King. It was like lines. She just said lines from Lion King.
I did, or she did?
When you get downhearted. How do you feel? Every time that Pumbaa, not in front of the kids.
Oh, sorry.
Well, the other thing, like, when you're in your stories, like, talking about yourself, that's one thing, but this is also what I'm learning right now, is, like, in captions, trying to change language. Anytime you want to say I, say we.
I do that.
So, you know, so that you're not just talking about yourself, because as much as, like, especially on your feed, like, people are scrolling to connect, like, they want to get sucked in. And honestly, as much as even our best friends care about us on a feed on Instagram, they don't care about us. They want to know how it, like, does something for them.
Totally.
Okay.
So changing anything that's like I to we and then us. And like anytime you can change like you to us, that's also helpful to get people.
I got written up once for using I instead of we, so it's a sore subject over here.
I feel like this is where I get really dumb. Like, it's really hard for me to conceptually figure that out. Maybe it's just because I'm tired. Like, I understand what you're saying, but when I sit down to write a post, I feel like it does become all about me, and then I just have Jessie Reagan in my head telling me, don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, how do you tell a story about yourself without saying I?
If you're talking to the same person, like if you're talking to somebody who's had a shared experience with you, it'd be like you know, like if you're saying like, I have a busy day, it'd be like, you know how when we have a busy day, blah, blah, like then we usually end up doing X, Y, and Z. And like, putting it back on them. So, or if it's like, you know how when our kids, I mean, I don't have kids, but like when our kids do this, and if people don't get it, well, then they're not your person. But like changing it to like we and us, and like when you make lunch, isn't it like, don't we tend to just grab the first thing that's in the front of the fridge? And usually it's sweets, isn't it? Whatever.
I like that.
You're so smart. I had to say it twice because my dishwasher is loud.
No, that's good.
That's really good. How about you just write my post for me? Just kidding.
No, I get so much paralysis when I write content. Like,
your content's really good, and I've been totally fangirling your videos of you in your. Have you guys seen Anna's things? I even shared one on my page because I thought it was so funny.
They're so cute. I was that for Halloween once.
I know. I've seen your picture, and it's amazing.
I won a contest in a bar. Actually, I think we wore that then to the summit thing. Remember when I was raging?
Yeah.
Walking around with a leotard on my butt and a big old belly.
Remember that. Good times.
Yep. Okay.
Well,
Anna, maybe you should do our next training
yes,
on Instagram.
Why don't you do team call next week and teach us all the things?
Just bring all the.
Maybe it's just like, I feel like I'm a hypocrite because like I have 0 followers. So it's like, I like am slowly moving, but I'm like, it's not like I'm the queen of it.
How was your engagement?
Well, that's the thing, is that this is what I'm trying to release. Bless and release the fact that like, I don't have to have a ton of followers.
No.
As long as they're the right followers and they're buying.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's the thing, is that like, I don't even have 400 followers, and yet like,
you've been hitting Success Club.
Yeah.
You've been getting people signed up. Yeah.
What is your, see, I feel like views per page just like doubled. Did anybody else go through that? Anybody else notice that?
Mine's growing again from being on a timeout for a week. So yeah.
What do you mean?
At the top of your page, you can see how many people view your page.
Oh, your profile visits?
Yeah. Mine went like down. Like it just kept going down. It was like the saddest. It just was like slowly dying. And now it's back, and we're back.
You should have been a banner that week saying everybody hates you.
You should quit. Nobody's reading your things.
Well, that's the thing, is to me, it's more about like the percentage of followers to like comments and likes, to me, is like a better barometer than just followers.
Right.
Totally.
100%. Absolutely.
I almost think it's almost embarrassing. This is me speaking about my personal Instagram. When I look at how many people watch my videos into comparison, how many freaking followers I have. What are they all doing? Where are they? Hello?
My
Aw.
engagement's really, really bad. That's what I've been trying to figure out. And I feel like it's gone. I feel like the more I'm trying to figure out Instagram, I feel like my engagement's going lower.
Well,
But I also feel like I've like switched things up too many times. Like I haven't stayed consistent with a flow and a look and whatever for long enough.
I was also going to say, I find that like on my when I'm on my personal Instagram page, I have almost like lost interest in spending too much time on stories just because there's so many stories now. Like, because I feel like stories are sometimes like people will look at stories more than they'll like scroll through all their posts.
Yes.
It's like the top of my feed is like all of these stories, and I'll like sit there for a little bit and I'll watch some stories, or I'll like page through some, and then I'll be like done with it, like I'm over it. So I'm also wondering if that's part of it, is like people just have so many accounts that they're following that they're not even like getting to the others because they haven't been to your page in a while. You know, like, so you're not going to show them as like a first story.
if you DM people, your stories will go further, like closer, higher up for them.
Okay.
Well, I'm good at the DMing, so.
So that means like if you're
Just
DMing
slide on in.
people, it's gonna go further up. But there are just so many.
Yeah.
But if you DM too many people, you'll be on a timeout for a week, so be careful with that. But yes.
He just gets timeouts.
Paula, you're on mute.
So if I DM the people, I want them to see my stories. That's all I have to do to get to the.
Well, if they're following you.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you want to be in there.
So here's my thing. The more I'm myself and I'm not worried about it, the more I get interaction. And like I've been getting a lot of interaction, and I've been sending samples of Energize, and I have so many people that are just like ready to do it. And I'm like at the end of the month, and I'm just like, okay, it's time. My sister's wanting to sign up and be a coach. My mom's wanting to sign up and be a coach. She's just waiting on my dad to say, okay, it's fine. I'll sign you up. And it's like, and then I have my best friend that's wanting to be a business partner with me, just like 10 miles down the road. And I have an office in the back of my house, like waiting to do this. So it's like, I'm like being patient, just kind of like, and then my church is having like Worcester Women CEO night. So I get to go and like set up and have an exercise thing. And like, I'm going to make bags with like shakes and Energize and Hydrate, and I'm going to sell them for like $10 a thing. And then I'm going to like have my shakes like for samples and stuff with Energize and all that set out too, so I can try it before they buy it. And then I'm also going to like have, so they can sign up if they want a challenge packs also September 7th. So I'm so excited about all that, but that's September coming up. So that's exciting. But and if I was wanting to find out about like coaching the next groups coming up, because I haven't coached in any of them yet, and I don't know how to do it.
You should jump in. We'll teach you.
Okay.
It's really easy once you're in there. It's not hard at all. It's more of making sure you set a reminder to actually do the it's more just making sure you show up to do it. I feel like is really, once you get in there, it's a very simple system.
Wow.
Well,
yeah. I don't have to do it yet because we haven't started knowing yet, but that's what's going on with me right now.
Awesome.
All right, girlies. And I'm sorry to say I am not going to leadership this year. So I won't get all of the training until probably delayed a little bit, but I will get it after the fact. I just could not. My husband's working and my parents cannot watch my kids, and I'm very sad about it, but try not to be too upset because it is what it is. But I just wanted to tell you guys that because I was feeling really guilty all weekend. about not going for the team and not being able to bring back all of that information. I think Kelly's going. She's waiting to see if she has coverage for her kids and can go. But Shayna's going, so I'll be trying to get some information from her too. So right now they're in the process of talking about what the topics are even going to be. That's what they've been talking about on the roundtable. But it does tend to be some pretty good information. So I will do my darndest to get that information for our teams after that.
Yay.
Well, thank you all for being on with us. I know this went really long, but this was really helpful, and I appreciate all of your insight.
Well, I mean, I know I was like, ooh, but like, if you do want me to do like a little portion of a call, I can, like, just to talk through, because I feel like I have been learning a lot in the last few weeks. I'm totally willing to share it.
Yeah.
I think it would be totally helpful, because I think, you know, what each of us might be researching, it's different things. I feel like it's such a wormhole on YouTube and wherever. So I think the more we just share whatever we're hearing, the better. So I would love for you to share whatever.
Anna, do you use TikTok?
I don't. My brother just got into it and he's trying to get me to, but I'm like, also where I've been focused is like, what's scalable? I don't want to waste time on things that aren't scalable. And so I'm trying to figure out things that are a hook without it being time consuming.
Yeah.
So funny that you say that, because I was laughing. So last night, that nutritional thing I made, right? It took me 40 minutes to make it all.
No.
And do you think it got me any kind of engagement? No, not one thing. And I'm like, I'm never wasting time on an app to make a story ever again. I won't do it. It's obviously working without, it's working without it.
Yeah. TikTok, Andy, is mostly like 10-year-olds and teenagers. Just kidding.
Oh, it's like another social media.
But I
Yeah,
do.
Also, it's Thriller.
So I would still I would do TikTok over Triller, but that's just based on like projections of what's actually going to take off. And like, you know, a lot of the personal development I follow is based on like men running businesses, because I just feel like, unfortunately, I can take them a little bit more seriously when they've been doing things for a long time and they're multimillionaires. I'm like, what's this guy have to say? So Gary Vee is someone I follow and listen to his podcast, but he's someone that said like TikTok is probably going to be the next Instagram. And I have seen one top coach use it, and I'm like, So, you know, I mentor an 18-year-old, and I text her yesterday, okay, fine. Because she's always like, make a TikTok with me. And I'm like, no, why? So anyways, I was like, all right, I guess you need to teach me how to do TikTok. And
I know my brother like made some random video of him like pushing pennies into a pile, and it had over 1,000 people within the first like 24 hours.
Yeah, and now granted, the audience could be 12-year-olds, but what he's saying is it's going to take, so Facebook was for college students, Instagram was for photographers. Now look at us, we're all over it. So he's just saying like, put your stuff on. Like, you know, some people have done really well with Pinterest, and we are videoers, right? Like we can do things on video, and that makes more sense. So anyways, I'm going to look into TikTok, and I will share what
Yeah, share about TikTok. This makes me go, ugh.
Oh, me too.
So,
believe me, if I didn't have my little 18-year-old around, I would be like, I can't. But she's like, yeah, let's do it. I'm like, okay.
I have never
there's my baby.
heard that in my life. And so Thriller is an app like a Snapchat too? I thought it was like to make videos.
Yeah, it's called Triller. There's no H.
Thriller.
And I know I thought it was Thriller. I did too originally. But you can do like vlogs on there, or you can do music videos, and you can basically do like a chunk, and you record yourself doing it multiple times and then intercuts. So it's like interesting.
I made one.
But
Anna, it is easy. I'm videoing myself. I'm practicing.
yeah, it's not
It
that
is
hard.
easy.
Yeah.
But the only part I don't like is that so like for a song tomorrow, I have a specific like part that I want to sing, but it's not doing that on here.
You have to just scrub along. Like you can just scrub the music.
I can move it.
You can move the music to be the chunk you want on there. But the other thing to think about is
where do I do that? Because like, do I do it there?
No. Yeah, you just pull it along.
Do I edit how many seconds?
No, it does the length of time. You just have to pull it along to change.
Do I have to push play?
Yeah, so you can hear what section it is.
But
the other thing to think about is like, is this what all the coaches are going to start doing? And like, do you want to be doing what everyone else is doing?
Good thought.
Because I've been seeing it a lot. Because when I asked my brother, who's 24 and all over TikTok, asked him about Triller, he hadn't even heard of it. And I was like, okay. He's like, who's using it? I was like, a bunch of beach bike coaches. And he was like, oh. So I think
you did, Kimberly.
And
we're not going to use Triller to grow my business. I'm going to use Triller because it's like got a rad look to it that is fun on your Instagram. Right?
It's fun.
Right, but I mean like, but then they can go follow another coach that.
I know, but there's like 500,000 coaches and I can guarantee you there's maybe 500 that are using it. You know what I mean? In the grand scheme of things, I'm sure. And again, it's still your personality. Like what you're going to do in there is going to be different than what Andy does and what Anna does and what Sarah does. Just like in our morning dance offs, we all look very different. You know what I mean? Literally very different.
I'm installing.
I still have to work out, and it's 10:30 here right now.
Crystal, get to it.
But I also have to sew like lots of things right now too.
What are you sewing?
I told this lady I would hem her daughter's skirt, so I got to do that first because technically I was supposed to have it for her last week, and I ended up house sitting, so I wasn't able to. And then I have to sew a dress.
Crystal makes really awesome clothes, you guys.
But the dress is going to be like super easy. It's actually probably going to be easier than the skirt. But while we were on this call, I already like pinned it all up and everything. So it just needs to be hemmed. And also I cut out all the pieces for the dress. So I just need to like sew it together.
I'm always so fascinated that people have all these other talents in life. Do you know what my talent is?
Making money.
I can't even sew a button.
You're
Your
Kim,
party.
is your
Throw
hate.
really good parties.
My husband would love it if I could sew. We wait for my mom to come in town, and then he has a pile for her, and he says, "Can you fix all of my clothes?"
So my family does too. I literally have a pile of my sister's shirts right now sitting on my sewing table. They all have like little hole here or mend here.
Oh, home ec.
Sure,
Where
I'll
did
get
you
those.
go?
No problem.
Andrea, are you doing Triller down there, or are you doing TikTok?
I'm trying to do the throw. It's not working for me, Anna. It won't let me edit. It only gives me up to 30 seconds.
Well,
And it won't.
You can't go long. It's not a long.
Well, you can't pick what part of the song you want.
Yeah, you can. If you go to plus and then you do music video, and then you.
So like,
How long are you trying to do?
don't make fun of me. Chilling like a villain from Descendants 2.
Wait, what?
Chilling like a villain. from
Chilling like a
Descendants
villain from Descendants 2.
Because tomorrow is the movie soundtrack. We should.
And my
probably put it on
family's
there.
addicted to it. My
Oh my
kids
gosh.
are.
Andrew,
Okay.
if you go watch my stories and see Corbin and all the neighbor girls, they're trying to make a music video and they practice every afternoon.
That is amazing. Because I have Snow White ears.
But they're
So I was like, so.
Yay.
Who's
But when I
spouse
click,
is like dying.
when I
Is
click on it, Anna, it doesn't let me. It gives me 16 seconds, and then it's not what I want. It's
I
not
got
the part I want.
I'm leaving, but I tagged you all. I did a boomerang and tagged you.
Bye, Sarah. Love you.
Bye.
I think with that one, that might be the only chunk that's on there.
Got it.
Well,
Guys, I'll have to do my other route because I
now
have my whole
before-
routine.
have you all? Do you have it linked to your Spotify?
I don't. Chris, do you have Spotify?
Because you
Anymore?
might be able to get a longer chunk.
I
or
have
you
Google
can-
Play. We pay for
What?
Google Play. We pay for Google Play.
Oh, do you have it on your phone? Is
Through
it?
Google Play, I do.
Well, then go to My Music and see if you can get it.
Okay. Darn it.
How did you were you able to add more than one video, Andrea?
Yeah.
How'd
That's
you
why I want to
watch
do
the,
it.
did you watch the thing?
No, I Googled it because I was waiting for you. So I literally Googled
it.
how to make a thriller movie.
I
It
posted
gave me a
it.
40-second tutorial.
Is it easy?
Yes, it's very easy. I'm having a harder time with the music than anything. See, but Anna, with Google, we don't pay for the songs. We just pay for the membership.
Oh, well, I think they're linked with Spotify. This company, it must be a Spotify company.
Yeah, we got rid of it. Dang it. I have to go buy the stinking song.
Just go buy it for 99 cents on iTunes and call it a day.
Because
Literally,
otherwise,
Chilling like if I don't see your Triller in the morning or Thriller, whatever the frick it's called.
Just the one part. They would just play the one
I
part.
just put up a transformation 30-day transformation post. You guys should all go put it in there. It'd be rad if we got like a bunch of people to do it.
where?
Where'd you
In
put
the
it?
in Tribe and in the B100 group.
I think I'm only on 29.
And
So I
taking my
Okay,
15.
because even if you started with us and you're still technically on day 30. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because that's also going to help if we do it by like, this is 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Then the people who just started last week, they can still join in. Because
Yeah.
it's not workout 30, workout 60.
So you're saying just do it now.
Yeah.
I'll do it tomorrow morning when I have better lighting.
You have projects. Go make a skirt.
All right, I need to go. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye. Let's go to Target and get these freaking shoes, and I don't even really like them now that I'm thinking about it.
I just got back from Target, 2 Targets actually, because I did a store pickup for a pair of shoes for Demi. For some reason, they're like giant compared to all their other shoes. And then they didn't have the smaller size as that Target. So I had to go to a different one and go get them in the right size.
The Cat and Jack.
Huh?
Crystal, where do you live?
In Dallas. Well, I live in Fort Worth actually.
Are they Cat and Jack?
Yeah.
And do you feel like they run big?
Yes. Yeah, because I've been getting her 9s, like toddler 9s and everything, and these were like so big that it was actually kind of comical. She looked at them and she goes, "Mom, these are too big." And I said, "No, they're not. They're your size." And then she like put them on in the car and she was like, "Look, Mom." And there was like this much of a heel, like literally open in the back. And I'm like, okay.
Okay, I just put in a smaller pair, and I'm gonna go get those instead. Okay, I said I was gonna be asleep by 10 o'clock, and now I have to go to Target, so I gotta go.
Okay, I have a question. So
I'm going because I got to sew. Bye, guys.
I know I need to go too, but I just have one question. So I need 8 people under me, right?
Yeah.
In there, you can
And I'm just trying to think about my whiteboard. So if my sister signs up and she starts working the business, right? And
Right.
Paula's working the business.
Yep.
And then I have my best friend working the business.
Yep.
They all need to become emeralds too, right?
At least 2 of them, yes.
But I still need to have 8 people under me total.
Yeah, you have 8 no matter what. 2 of them need to be emeralds.
Okay.
Yeah, and I recommend trying to get more of them than to be emeralds because you'd rather have like a pretty solid foundation than have it be like crazy rocky, you know?
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just in my head. Okay. All right.
Okay.
I'm going to make this post in.
Okay, good night.
You're going to what, Andy? Good night, Paula.
Good night, Paula.
Good
I'm
night.
going to make this post in the info group. My phone is all week. It's like super slow.
You were saying that.
Anything on Instagram and Facebook. And I keep like, you know how you like swipe your apps up to like completely be out of it and go back in? I keep doing that and it's just not working. So I need to do it on my computer. I need to do that. And I need to wrap up my stories in the other info group. And I need to post my food and I need to go to bed.
I need to do all those things too.
I thought that was a good call. I was trying to
Oh, wait.
let's